Part 17. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 161. An expeditionary force from Great Britain. Good guy. Great Britain is not that close to here. It's really a genuine expeditionary force. According to intelligence, the reason why the expeditionary force went to Sakura this time was because the Sakura country had the treasures that King Arthur needed. Lu Jin touched his chin. In his memory, there was nothing worthy of his attention in Sakura country. The only event I can remember is the five-party battle in Sakura country. The forces that participated at the beginning were Yaotang, Great Britain, Vikings, Ancient Egypt, and Sakura local forces. But in his memory, this five-party battle should not occur until a year later. Could it be that this is another butterfly effect caused by his own rebirth? Thinking of this, Lu Jin touched his chin. The Holy Grail can be said to be the most important weapon of Great Britain. Its status is equivalent to the Longhorn Jade seal in his hand. Because of this, the Holy Grail guided King Arthur to come to the Sakura Kingdom to find a certain item. Then this item must be a treasure. After receiving this information, Lu Jin immediately ordered Shui Ganning and others to stand still. After Great Britain's fleet attacked the East Customs, they reaped the benefits. While waiting, Eckert led the fleet to the East Customs. When their fleet arrived near Dongguan Customs, it directly attracted the attention of Donghai Customs fleet. Hundreds of ships carrying artillery attacked directly towards Eckert's fleet. Boom! 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 Several cannons struck directly at Eckert's ship. The Silver Knight on the ship stood beside the ship instantly. I saw them yelling sharply, and a breath similar to true energy burst out from his body. At this time, the shields in their hands turned into phantoms and directly blocked the attacks of many artillery. Keep getting closer. After blocking the first round of artillery, Eckert immediately moved the ship closer. When the ship approached, Eckert jumped up like a lion. Jump on the enemy ship. Eckert holds a shield in one hand and a sword in the other. For a moment, blood splattered everywhere, and Eckert stood guard around the cannon. If anyone dared to get close, he would take action without mercy and kill them on the spot. Shui Ganning in the distance looked at the battle in the distance and couldn't help but sigh. The breath they use that is similar to Qi should be the magic power that His Majesty mentioned. The average combat power of these Western knights is around that of a third-grade warrior. The knight who rushed onto the ship has the aura of a first-grade warrior. It seems that this expeditionary force is indeed an elite force. Shui Ganning rubbed his hands anxiously. He has never fought against these guys from the West, which really makes people feel a little itchy. At this moment, a hand was placed on Shui Ganning's shoulder, and a familiar voice sounded. Don't worry, you will have a chance to perform later. Lu Jin also came to the battlefield in person at this moment. The moment they saw Lu Jin appear, the morale of the entire Qianlong Navy soared, reaching its peak. In this way, as Lu Jin and others watched, they saw Eckert's fleet rushing all the way. They defeated Dongguan's fleet with difficulty. Finally, they approached the city wall of Donghaiguan. The towering city wall stands like an isolated island above the endless sea. Ector gasped, and the armor on his body was completely stained red with blood. But even so, he still didn't dare to relax at all. Because he knew that the entire fleet was now exhausted. But they can't rest yet. They still need to keep chasing. Until the entire Donghaiguan is taken down. Brothers, hold on a little longer, the dawn of victory is just ahead. Eckert raised his arms and shouted, his aura that was originally a little sluggish quickly increased at this moment. Seeing that Eckert, as the leader, is so energetic. The knights who were a little tired suddenly cheered up. That's right. The noble and powerful knights of the Round Table have not yet fallen, how could they fall just like that? At this time, Eckert looked at Kostra. Lord Kostra, it's time for the next battle to require your holy light knights to charge as the vanguard. Kostra glanced at Eckert, who was a little weak. He didn't know what he was thinking. But finally he nodded, accompanied by a movement. In the cabin, the Holy Light Knights, who had long been ready to kill, all entered the battlefield. When those Silver Knights saw the flag of the Holy Light Knights, they also smiled. That's right. This is their trump card, the Knights of Holy Light. The leader of the Holy Light Knight directly threw a luminous ball, and the huge light ball exploded directly on the wall of Dunhaven. For a moment, a dazzling light directly illuminated the entire city wall. The soldiers defending the city were caught off guard and were blinded. Taking advantage of the city defenders losing their sight, the Holy Light Knights stepped onto the city wall one after another. Oh! Second grade Legion? It's interesting. I was a little worried that these knights wouldn't be able to take down Dunhaven. Now it seems that I was a little worried. Lu Jin looked at the sudden appearance of the Holy Light Knights and couldn't help but think. I wonder if this expeditionary force has other trump cards? At this time, the Holy Light Knights began to continuously slaughter the soldiers defending the city. The average fighting strength of the soldiers defending the city was around that of 4th grade warriors, so how could they be the opponents of the Holy Light Knights who had the strength of these 2nd grade warriors? For a time, the city wall defense line of Dunhaven began to collapse violently. When Eckert saw this scene, his eyes lit up and he quickly climbed onto the city wall. Other Silver Knights climbed onto the city wall one after another. Great Britain's expeditionary force seemed to have an absolute advantage. It was only a matter of time before they captured the East Customs. At this time, Shui Ganning was a little anxious. Your Majesty, are we going to dispatch? If this continues, if those Westerners take over Dunhaven and use the terrain of Dunhaven to resist us, they will probably lose a lot of manpower. My subordinates believe that now is the best time for us to enter the field. Best time? No. The corner of Lu Jin's mouth raised slightly. Dunhaven is a major sea pass. How easy is it to win it? Don't worry, the show has just begun. As soon as he finished speaking, several Holy Light Knights were thrown out of the city wall by an invisible force. On the city wall, a bearded man holding a long knife exuded an astonishing aura. A first-class general. Lu Jin smiled, there was more than one first-grade general guarding the Donghai Pass. Immediately afterwards, the Silver Knight on the other side also met another guarding general. 2 first-grade generals attacked from the front and back, aiming directly at Eckert and others on the city wall. At this time, even Eckert couldn't help but turn pale. The situation in front of him is no longer within his control. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 162. Damn it! There are actually 2 S-class warriors here. Kostra felt that his investment was a complete failure. He gave up his territory and spent a lot of time just to follow Eckert out to sea to find the illusory Holy Grail and King Arthur's treasure. As a result, before they could get the treasure, they were about to perish in the Donghai Pass. Kostra gritted his teeth for a while. No. He can't give up here yet. Thinking of this, Kostra directly took out a scarlet gem from his backpack. Crush the gem, and scarlet power bursts out from the gem and penetrates directly into Kostra's body. Seeing this scene, Eckert couldn't help but widen his eyes. It's forbidden magic, Kostra, as an honorary knight, how can you use forbidden magic? Shut up. Damn your honor, I just want to live now. If you hadn't brought me here, how could I have exposed this trump card? For a moment, the magic power in Kostra's body began to surge, reaching S level in an instant. This is the so-called first-grade warrior realm. Seeing this scene, Lu Jin smiled. Very well, now it's our turn to enter the field. Both sides' cards have been exposed. We can enter the field to harvest. Prepare the divine cannon. Divine artillery. Upon hearing these 4 words, Shui Ganning immediately understood what Lu Jin was planning to do. The Mirage moves out, followed by other ships. When the Knights of Great Britain and the Defenders of the East Customs were fighting vigorously, they all saw the Mirage in the distance. At this time, it is difficult not to pay attention even if you want to. The huge body of the Mirage is like an isolated island floating on the sea. At this moment, Eckert and Kostri felt a thump in their hearts at the same time. What they were most worried about happened. Looking towards the Mirage deck, Lu Jin was standing on the deck with fluttering white clothes and a faint smile on his lips. But this trace of a smile in their eyes was as chilling as the ice in the sky. Fire! Lu Jin gave an order, and hundreds of divine artillery mounted on the Mirage aimed at the city wall of Donghaeguan. Boom! The first divine cannon is launched. Containing the true energy of a first-grade warrior, it attacks directly towards Donghaeguan. Boom! Then came the second divine artillery. The third door, the fourth door. The dense artillery fire was like a torrential downpour, instantly setting off a violent wave on the sea. After the round of artillery fire ended, Lu Jin looked again. I saw that the originally neat city wall had collapsed at this moment. The originally majestic Donghaeguan has been turned into ruins. Not to mention the human figure, there is not even a trace of biological activity. This is the power of the 100 divine power cannons. Even a first-grade warrior will turn into ashes and disappear under the bombardment of the 100 divine power cannons. At this moment, the system notification sounded in Lu Jin's ears. Ding! Congratulations on successfully killing the Knight of the Round Table of Great Britain. Elk, here's your reward, a golden legendary reputation treasure chest. Ding! Congratulations on successfully destroying the world-level East China Sea. Here's your reward, a golden legendary East China Sea treasure chest. Got 2 golden legendary treasure chests. Lu Jin directed the Mirage to pass through the ruins of Donghaeguan, straight into the territory of Sakura country. Standing on the ruins of Donghaeguan, Lu Jin activated his energy to improve his eyesight. He could even see the coastline of Sakura country. Watching one ship after another pass through the Dongguan River, Lu Jin took advantage of this free opportunity and opened 2 legendary treasure chests. Lu Jin basically doesn't lack anything now. He was a little tired of opening the golden legendary treasure chest. I don't know when I will get another 7-color saint level treasure chest, so that I can look forward to it a little bit. What's more, these 2 treasure chests don't even have upgrade prompts. Lu Jin didn't have any expectations at first. Sure enough, a series of system prompts sounded. Ding! Congratulations on getting the golden legendary gift pack food gift pack. Ding! Congratulations on getting the golden legendary building blueprint fish demon breeding farm. Ding! Congratulations on getting the golden legendary weapon blueprint water trident. Sure enough, they were all architectural blueprints, as well as weapon blueprints. But now even if I obtain these blueprints, I can't use them directly. You can only use it after you return to Qianlong City. Alternatively, it would be a good idea to wait until you win the first Sakura City and then set up a teleportation array in the Sakura City. Putting away all the rewards, Lu Jin took a step forward and crossed the border directly to the Sakura country area. System announcement: Longxia Lord Lu Jin has successfully occupied the East Customs Pass. All Longxia regional channels will be opened, and all world regional channels will be opened. Ding! Congratulations on becoming the first lord to fight across borders. Here is your reward, a special national war treasure chest. Special national war treasure chest? Lu Jin frowned slightly when he saw the special national war treasure box suddenly appeared in his backpack. WTF? This treasure chest actually emits white light? White quality treasure chest. To put it bluntly, Lu Jin had never encountered a treasure chest of such rubbish quality. But when Lu Jin opened the properties of the treasure box, an intriguing smile appeared on his face. I see. Name: National War Treasure Box. Quality: unique and special. Current quality: White trash. Essence of war obtained, 0 points. In other words, in this national war treasure chest, foreign lords and foreign soldiers must be killed to accumulate war essence. The more war essences there are, the higher the quality of the treasure chest will be. The higher the quality, the more precious the products will be. Lu Jin touched his chin and thought to himself. Unlimited upgradable treasure chests. So, doesn't this mean that you have a chance of getting the highest quality treasure chest? The colorful holy treasure chest is not the most precious treasure chest. The most precious treasure box is what is called the red god level treasure box. Of course, this level only exists within the rules of the system. Lu Jin had never encountered a red god level treasure chest even in his previous life. In this case, it is better to upgrade this national war treasure chest and see if you can get the legendary red god level treasure chest. Just when Lu Jin put away the red god level treasure box, the system's announcement sounded again. System announcement: the ancient Egyptian Lord Aha successfully occupied the world level ice customs. System announcement: Viking Lord Eric successfully occupied the world level demon customs. System announcement: Demon Tang Lord Zhang Hongyi successfully occupied the world level Nanhaguan. Oh! Lu Jin smiled after listening to the system announcement. Sure enough, they are all here. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 163. It's much earlier than in the previous life. It seems that the butterfly effect he brought about has set off a hurricane in the world process. But so what? Lu Jin looked towards the seaside in the distance. He did not have the slightest fear about the arrival of lords from other countries. The surprise in his eyes only disappeared in a flash. Lu Jin is now fully fledged and is not afraid at all even in the face of these forces. Where are the black guards? As soon as he finished speaking, a black guard appeared next to Lu Jin. The black guard knelt down beside Lu Jin with a pious look on his face. My subordinate is here. Pass my order and have the 4 generals Yao Daji, Mo Lu Buletin, Kuang Ma Chao and Mo Dianwei lead 100,000 hidden dragon army to stand by near the teleportation array. Clear. Being fearless does not mean underestimating the enemy. The lion still needs all his strength to fight the rabbit. Lu Jin is not afraid of the forces of other countries, but he never underestimates any of his enemies. Pride is always the most fatal flaw of a powerful person. Precisely because he has a deep understanding of this path, Lu Jin never allows himself to be too proud and always alerts himself. In particular, among these forces is ancient Egypt. Lu Jin could ignore everyone else, but this ancient Egypt could never be ignored. Ancient Egypt, like Longxia, was an area where gods and humans existed. Although the beings in the realm of gods and humans have not yet appeared in the Longxia area, the memory of the past life tells Lu Jin that just because these beings in the realm of gods and humans have not shown up, it does not mean that they do not exist. Before the war started, Lu Jin had to prepare for the worst. That is the worst outcome of a fight with a being in the divine realm. Thinking of this, Lu Jin waved his hand and his fleet set off again. The vast fleet of ships headed directly towards Sakura Island. Mirage took the lead, followed by the giant AO-class 1,000-man ship escorting behind him. As for Sakura country, the Sakura Lord in the channel exploded. Yamamoto Ichiro, Nani, what's the situation now? Why do so many people come to our great Sakura Empire? Mariazawa, what should I do now? I just defected to the Oda family, am I going to start a national war now? Ayama, what are you afraid of? When will our great Sakura Empire be afraid of foreign invasion? Kojiro Yama, but this time, 2 of the 4 ancient countries have come, what should we do? As soon as these words came out, all the lords who were very arrogant just now turned off their fire. That's right. Even if they don't want to admit it. but the situation now is before them. Ancient Egypt and Longxia, these two ancient countries appeared separately. But what makes the Sakura lords most curious is, what is the origin of this Long Han? Judging from the name, it should be a dynasty in the Longxia area. But they had never heard of the name Long Han. They had heard of the divine man. As for the name Long Han, let alone it. Among Yaotang's fleet, Zhang Hongyi also saw the name of Long Han. Long Han? Zhang Hongyi frowned slightly, her brain working rapidly. In my own memory, there has never been a name for this dynasty area. The only trace that can be traced is that among the two characters Long Han, there is a Han. Among the dynasties, only the Shenhan dynasty has the character Han in its name. But the current Shenhan dynasty should still be in the period of the Three Kingdoms struggle for hegemony. Unless a lord directly unified the entire Shenhan region, completing two hellishly difficult tasks, founding a country and proclaiming himself emperor and unifying the country. For a moment, Zhang Hongyi felt that everything was connected in series. If there is really a lord who unified the divine Han, then the appearance of this Long Han is understandable. Zhang Hongyi secretly thought. Fortunately, he went on an expedition to Sakura and got the news in advance. If he reported this news to the monarch of Yaotang, he would definitely get some rewards. Of course, she didn't have to worry too much. Even the current divine men have been unified by the lords. Even if this lord captured many divine generals, his power would be overwhelming. Even though he has settled down now and his power is developing steadily. Even the worst and worst ending. Between the divine man and the demon Tang, there is still a barbarian. Those barbarian lords would not let the Shenhan lords pass through their lands and attack demon Tang. Presumably, the king of Long Han would not let these barbarian lords dance around under his nose. At that time, as long as they fight, Yaotang will be able to reap the benefits and capture both areas in one go. Thinking of this, Zhang Hongyi breathed out. She had prepared for the worst. What development could be worse than she imagined? Zhang Hongyi sent her guess about Long Han to her companions far away in Yaotang. After receiving the news, the Lord of Yaotang did not dare to hesitate at all and directly passed the information to the monarch of Yaotang. The reason why Zhang Hongyi didn't use the regional channel was simple. Because several of their countries launched an invasion of Sakura at the same time. This has met the conditions for the start of a national war. Once the national war starts, all regional channels will be open. By that time, intelligence exchanges will be more frequent and easier. Even within Yaotang, everyone is not on the same page. Because of this, the only people Zhang Hongyi trusts the most now are the lords who get along with him day and night and share common interests. There are no eternal enemies, only eternal interests. The strongest bond between people is interests. Lu Jin naturally knew this, so he opened the current channel. The channels in all regions were integrated. In the Longxia channel, the lords of each region seemed to have seen the new world and began to express their opinions. Xiao Xiaolinshan, good guy, has the Longxia channel been integrated so quickly? Demon Tang Li Paratrooper, Lord of Xiao Xia, what stage are you at? Zuxia Linshan, want to spy on information? Demon Tang Li Paratrooper, where is it, just ask. Yin Shangji Dong Liao, why ask him, why don't you ask me? Xianqin Huang Shanghe, is it really okay to ask anything? For a time, the entire regional channel was filled with a sense of intrigue. The progress of each area is naturally a secret between each area. After all, every region experiences a period of upheaval. If the enemy got the news and took advantage of the situation, wouldn't they be reduced to wedding clothes for others? For example, the current Xianqin has reached the end of Qin II, and various rebel armies have risen up one after another. Among them, Liu Bang and Xiangyu have taken turns to appear. But according to the memory of the previous life, not long after, a lord summoned Qin Shi Wang Yingzheng from another world. Since then, Xianqin reversed its offensive, and the lords took Liu Bang and Xiangyu under their command respectively. Xian Qin's strength increased sharply and became the leader in each region. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 164. If Xiaoxia hadn't gone against the current in the later period, perhaps no one would have been able to punish the powerful Xian Qin. Of course, these things were all heard by Lu Jin. Lu Jin did not know the details and whether there were any exaggerations. Now, he sets his sights on the first landing battle in Sakura country. He has no interest in the friction and entanglement in the Longxia area. But at this moment, Lu Jin's private message suddenly lit up. News about Bei Mingxiu? Lu Jin touched his chin. After a long time, he seemed to think of something, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Opening the private message, Bei Mingxiu sent him a series of screenshots. It is the chat history of the chat channel. But unlike the regional channels, the screenshots of their chats come from the chat records within the Lord's Alliance. That's right. Bei Mingxiu and others created another Lord Alliance. But unlike the previous Lord's Alliance, the Lord's Alliance they established this time was entirely created for Lu Jin. Bei Mingxiu, as the leader of the Lord's Alliance, let me just say a few words. This regional channel integration will bring more benefits than harms to the Lords in other areas. Bei Mingxiu, but for us, Lord Longhan, it will do more harm than good. Bei Mingxiu, everyone now enjoys the benefits of Longhan established by Mr. Lu Jin. Everyone will be prosperous, and everyone will suffer losses. Bei Mingxiu, everyone wants to think about a question, that is, if Longhan falls, can we still be as comfortable as we are now? That's right. As soon as these words came out, they directly hit the hearts of those lords. Yes. Now their territory is rich and the people live and work in peace and contentment. They understand Lu Jin, and it is precisely because they understand Lu Jin that they have a certain understanding of their own strength. If it were him, he would definitely not be able to achieve Lu Jin's level. Now that other regions are in troubled times, what is the benefit of betraying Longhan and defecting to other regions? No good at all. Moreover, he paid a high price to stay in Longhan. If he betrayed Longhan, wouldn't all his previous efforts be in vain? Yu Fengxiu, if others don't tell me, I will never betray Mr. Lu Jin. Can you still eat and drink as well as you do now in other areas? Chen Hainiu, have you watched the chat on the Longxia channel? The most discussed issue among those lords was how to solve the problem of food rations for their soldiers. Chen Hainiu, you heard me right, they find it difficult to raise 1,000 soldiers, but how many troops do you have now? Yu Fengxiu, I have 50,000 soldiers, 10,000 of whom are 5th grade warriors, and the remaining 40,000, whose average strength is around 7th grade, have gone to other areas. Can you achieve such a large number of troops? That's right. All the lords knew very well that going against Lu Jin would not end well. But with Lu Jin, you can eat delicious food and drink spicy food, and you won't have to worry about food. They have already made up their minds as to how to choose. After reading the chat history, Lu Jin smiled slightly. It seemed that the series of benefits he had set up before were now effective. Only eternal interests can firmly bind everyone to their own chariot. After Lu Jin thought for a moment, he sent a message to Bei Mingxiu. Lu Jin, this is the best choice you can make. Meet at the teleportation arrays in each city in 3 days. Seeing this news, Bei Mingxiu's eyes lit up. Teleportation array assembled. Isn't the subtext that Lu Jin intends to lead them to fight a national war? You can get national war points by playing in the national war. Different from war dungeons, national war points are calculated separately, and there is a separate national war store. The most important thing is that the country they want to fight this time is Sakura country. Who can refuse a chance to defeat Sakura country? Soon, Bei Mingxiu posted Lu Jin's words on the Lord's Alliance channel. For a moment, the Lord of Longhan became excited. There is a national war. Hold Lu Jin's thigh tightly, can't the points from the national war be easily collected? Lu Jin's words undoubtedly bound those lords to his chariot again. As for those lords with different intentions, they had already been screened out by Lu Jin. The remaining lords are still controllable. If used well, it might become a trump card in Lu Jin's hand. At this time, the outline of Sakura Island appeared in Lu Jin's field of vision. About to arrive. Sakura Island. Reporting to Your Majesty, based on the information obtained by our reconnaissance team after investigation. The coastline area ahead belongs to the Sakura Nageo clan. The current head of the Nageo clan is named Nageo Kagetora. According to rumors, this Nageo Kagetora is brave and good at fighting, and is called the god of war. He even has a lord named Yosuji Genakairo under his command. Yosuji Genakairo has a group of monks with extraordinary combat power. Nageo Kagetora also has another name in history, Yosuji Kenshin. This person can compete with Takeda Shinjin. Unexpectedly, he would face a powerful enemy in the first battle after landing in Sakura. Although the Sakura country in this world has a smaller land area, it seems to be to compensate for the Sakura country's aura being so rich that it can even approach Qianlong City. The samurai of Sakura Kingdom all possess the strength of 8th grade warriors. And the soldiers basically have the strength of 7th grade warriors. Therefore, Lu Jin can boldly speculate that the strength of this long-tailed Kagetora is most likely to exceed the first-level realm. In the Songan Mountain Formation House, Nageo Yude of the Nageo family was reviewing official documents. Although he is a member of the Nageo family, he is not taken seriously. Because of this, he was assigned to the desolate and remote place of Songan Mountain. I don't know when these boring days will end. As soon as he finished speaking, a retainer rushed in directly. Seeing the flustered expressions of his retainers, Nageo Yude frowned, although he felt dissatisfied. But seeing his retainer in such a panic, he must have something important to report, so he could only suppress his inner anger. What happened to make you so panicked? Report to the head of the family. Heaven, heaven. What heaven? Nageo Yude stood up and looked at the panicked retainers who looked like they were angry at the iron. But the next second, the sound of metal piercing flesh was heard. Hot blood spattered on Nageo's majestic face. A soldier in black armor pierced the retainer's chest with a spear. The retainer fell, blood spreading under him. The black-armored soldier glanced at Longtail Yude, with a smile on his face. It seems that you should be the leader of this place. Don't worry, I won't kill you. Our Majesty still has something to ask you. As he said that, the black-armored soldier stabbed out with a spear. Nageo Yude hurriedly closed his eyes, but the spear passed by him and directly pierced his clothes. Immediately afterwards, the black-armored soldier rolled his spear and lifted Nageo Yude into the air. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 165. You, who are you? Nageo Yude, who was captured alive, looked pale and couldn't help but ask the biggest doubt in his heart. Because the armor worn by the black-armored soldiers in front of them was not equipment that their Sakura country could produce at all. Even the words spoken by the black-armored soldiers were completely unclear to him. But fortunately, they didn't seem to be planning to kill him. But at this time, when he came to the outside world, Nageo Yude's eyes widened and he couldn't believe his eyes. He was still curious about where these black-armored soldiers invaded from. But when he saw the red-flamed goshawk appearing in the sky, his expression changed drastically. The red flame goshawk attacked from a distance, and after reaching the sky above the Songanshin Formation House, a black-armored soldier landed directly from the sky and landed in the Songanshin Formation House. Nageo Yude fantasized about countless invasion methods. But he never expected that the black-armored soldier in front of him would fall directly from the sky. The various defense lines and outposts they had set up were now nothing. The combat power of the black armored soldiers is extraordinary, and the warriors under him cannot even survive under their hands. With such power, his realm is at least that of a third-grade warrior. Thinking of this, Nagao Yude felt a sense of despair. What are the origins of these black armored soldiers? Even the elite aliens from the Oda family are nothing more than this. At this moment, Nagao Yude felt the black armored soldier stop. Suddenly, the black armored soldier swung his spear and threw Nagao Yude away. With a plop, Nagao Yude fell directly in front of Lu Jin. Lu Jin looked at the Sakura people in front of him and did not speak directly. Instead, a black guard came to Lu Jin's side. There are many people among the black guard who are proficient in languages. Therefore, this black guard is the translator he selected. Moreover, black guard is absolutely loyal to itself and there will be no problem of translation errors. The black guard stepped forward and asked Nagao Yude directly. Do you have a map of Sakura country? Nowadays, the Sakura kingdom is in the warring states period, with various big names establishing themselves one after another, and the shogunate existing in name only. The first thing Lu Jin did after landing was to occupy a city. Once you have the city, you can set up a teleportation array and teleport a steady stream of troops to Sakura Island. It was obvious that Nagao Yude was not a determined person. Lu Jin spent almost no effort to obtain the current map of Sakura country from him. I have donated the map, you can let me go. Nagao Yude looked at Lu Jin cautiously. He could tell that Lu Jin in front of him was the leader of these people. And with such a powerful army, they don't understand the language of Sakura country. After various analyses, Nagao Yude can boldly guess that the person in front of him must be from Dongfang Longxia. Lu Jin took a look at the map and was convinced that there was nothing wrong with it. Although the territory of Sakura country has expanded a lot, compared with other countries, it is still a small country. Putting away the map, Lu Jin turned and left. Seeing Lu Jin turn and leave, Nagao Yude looked confused. Lu Jin turned around and left. Was this letting him go? But the next second, Nagao Yude felt like the world was spinning. He saw his fallen, headless body. At this moment, Nagao Yude got the answer he wanted. Won't. Regardless of whether he contributed the map Lu Jin needed, Lu Jin would not let him go. Big deal, just crush them all the way. I don't believe that I can't find a city. But now that Lu Jin has a map in his hand, it's even easier. The closest city to here is Nagayaka Castle. As one of the few cities in the Ikago kingdom, Nagayaka Castle was naturally garrisoned by Nagao Kagetora's capable general Yosumai Sadamitsu and a lord. It's a pity. I don't know what kind of strength this Yosumai Sadami is. How many troops does Nagayaka city have? How many troops does that lord have? These are all unknown, and we need to find someone to investigate. Fortunately, Lu Jin had already sent several black guards to Changgang City in advance to probe for information. By the time his large force arrived at Changgang City, the black guards had almost completed their exploration. In this way, take a rest in Songan Mountain. Early the next morning, Lu Jin rode Mo Kailan and led a large army to Changgang City. In Nagayaka Castle, Yosumai Sadaman was sitting at the top of the banquet. Next to him, a young Sakura lord had an unruly look on his face, showing off his sharp edge. Yosumai Sadamitsu glanced at the Sakura lord. Although he was dissatisfied, he did not have an attack. Before arriving at Nagayaka Castle, Nagao Kagetora repeatedly warned Yosumai Sadumi. Although these alien lords are unruly and arrogant, but now they still need to rely on the elite soldiers in the hands of these alien lords. When absolutely necessary, never have an attack. Yosumai Sadaman thought of this, suppressed his inner dissatisfaction with the alien lord, and laughed. Come on, Mr. Nagao Taro, this kind of wine is not easy to get on weekdays. Today, you and I will not return until we are drunk. Nagao Taro sneered, took a sip of the wine glass in his hand and put it down directly. He looked at Yosemite Sadamitsu, and this look fell into Yosemite Sadamitsu's eyes. Yosemite Sadamitsu almost crushed the wine glass in his hand. Disdainful, contemptuous, as if looking at a clown, that look made Yosemite Sadamitsu almost lose control. A mere alien lord looked at him with such eyes. Now the Sakura territory has collapsed, and a series of countries such as Longxia and ancient Egypt have invaded Sakura. Calculating the time, Longxia's troops should have landed on the land of Sakura country by now. Arikago country is backed by the coastline, and there is a 50% chance that we will fight Ryuuka's troops. Your Majesty Yosemite Sadamitsu, instead of enjoying the wine here, why not contact the Jinya in the coastal area now? I don't like it. The next time you drink wine, it will be at your grave. After saying that, Nageyo Taro turned around and left the table. And at the moment Nageyo Taro left, with a snap, the wine glass in his hand was crushed to pieces by Yosemite Sadamitsu. When Yosemite Sadamitsu opened his palm again, the wine glass had turned into a wisp of powder and slipped from his fingers. But just to vent his anger, Yosemite Sadami didn't intend to completely fall out with these alien lords. After all, the ghost warriors under Nageyo Taro are rare elite soldiers. If he turned against him now, Nageyo Taro would probably turn the knife around and attack him. Nowadays, all walks of life are in chaos, and I cannot offend this troublesome existence at this juncture. After calming down, Yosemite Sadami immediately called his men. Contact the formations in the coastal area immediately and ask them to be on guard for any troops from Longxia. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 166. Upon receiving the order, Yosemite Sadami's samurai immediately took action. They began to contact the Jinya along the coast through various means. But soon, one message after another was passed to Yosemite Sadami. Most of the information from the formation has been received, and they have not discovered Longxia's troops. But there are only a few battle houses that have not responded until now. Maybe something has delayed them. No reply? Yosemite Sadaman had an ominous premonition in his heart. Although, this situation would not be considered a big deal in normal times. After all, there are many wild beasts in the mountains and forests, so it is understandable that the messenger encounters various accidents on the road. Even during wartime, not all formations could send news to him in time. But according to the words of that guy Nageyo Taro, now, forces from many countries have invaded the territory of their great Sakura Empire. At the critical moment, you have to guard against it? Yosemite Sadamitsu thought for a moment and then waved his hand. From now on, Nageoka Castle is on wartime alert. Hearing this order, the warrior was a little surprised. Could it be that Yosemite Sadamitsu was about to enter a wartime alert state just because he didn't receive the news from Jinya in time? But as the lord of the city guard, the warrior was just surprised, and immediately took the order and started to notify his guards. What? Are you going to start a wartime alert? The geographical location of Nageoka City is special. Even if there is a war, it won't be our turn. Since the Lord has given the order, all we have to do is follow the order. It's a pity. I originally wanted to have a drink during my break, but now I'm afraid it's no longer possible. It's already this time, and you're still thinking about drinking. You're really hopeless. On the city wall, several warriors guarding the city were joking with each other. Although they said they were on guard, they didn't care at all in their hearts. After all, under such circumstances, who would not think of attacking their Nageoka city? The defensive strength of their Nageoka city is not comparable to that of ordinary cities. The most important thing is that His Excellency Yosemite Sadamitsu is still in charge. How dare ordinary Xiao Xiao come to invade? But while they were still chatting, a warrior guarding the city suddenly noticed something was wrong. Look at the sky. Heaven. When other warriors guarding the city looked towards the sky, they only saw a wisp of flame as small as starlight. But then, their pupils constricted. The flame that looked like starlight grew bigger and bigger, and gradually turned into a scorching sun and attacked them directly. Boom! The huge fireball fell directly on the city wall of Najayaka Castle. The flames swept across instantly, and the violent heat wave instantly blew away the warriors guarding the city, and those close to the center of the flames were directly burned to ashes. Suddenly, a burning smell began to fill the air. The defenders on other city walls noticed something was wrong and immediately sounded the alarm. Yosemite Sadami was about to lie down when he heard a loud noise. Immediately afterwards, the alarm bell for enemy invasion rang. At this moment, Yosemite Sadami quickly put on his armor and rushed out of his room. Rushing out of the house, he saw a sight he would never forget. The city walls were ablaze with flames. In the sky, flying monsters that sprayed flames one after another were spitting out hot fireballs one after another at the city wall. Damn it! Monster invasion! No. It's an enemy invasion. A familiar voice sounded. Najo Taro was wearing a suit of armor, followed by several samurai wearing devil masks. The aura emanating from these ghost-faced warriors made Yosemite Sadaman feel palpitations in his heart. You said it was an enemy invasion. That's right. Long Xia's troops have arrived. As expected, the moment Najo Taro finished speaking, Yosemite Sadamitsu saw several black armored soldiers fall from behind the monster and landed directly on the city wall. The black armored soldiers seemed to be unafraid of the flames, holding halberds and cutting through the flames. They rushed out of the flames and slaughtered the lone Sakura samurai around them. Lu Jin has given an order to deal with these Sakura warriors without mercy at all, just kill them to the extreme, and kill them without leaving a trace behind. After receiving this order, the black armored soldiers seemed to let go of their restraints, becoming ruthless harvesters of life in the personalized battlefield. In less than a stick of incense, the entire city wall was covered with the figures of the hidden dragon army. Yosemite Sadamitsu rushed to the city wall, and when he saw the densely packed corpses under the city wall, his face suddenly darkened. In this era of war, soldiers are as precious as gold. I don't know how much effort it takes to cultivate a soldier who has experienced hundreds of battles. As a result, not long after this, they were all slaughtered to death. At this moment, Yosemite Sadamitsu noticed a sight. He looked up towards the city wall and met Lu Jin's eyes. Lu Jin stood there, looking down at him condescendingly. There was no emotion in his eyes, and he looked at Yosemite Sadamitsu as if he were looking at an ordinary unknown person. Yosemite Sadamitsu suddenly felt that he was insulted. When he encountered enemies on the battlefield, who was not afraid of him and who was disrespectful? A mere stranger dares to run wild in his city. But anger was anger, and Yosemite Sadami knew that the fact that these black armored soldiers could occupy the city wall so quickly meant that their strength must not be comparable to that of ordinary warriors. A 5th grade legion? No. You have to prepare for the worst. The enemy is very likely to be a 4th grade legion. If it is a 4th grade legion, then it can only rely on the Ghost Samurai Legion under Najo Taro. After all, his Ghost Warrior Legion is a genuine 4th grade legion. The Ghost Warriors are all at the 4th level without exception, and the infuriating energy of these Ghost Warriors is particularly strange. Even if you are not careful, you may be hit. Your Excellency Najo Taro, these black armored soldiers are so powerful that only your Ghost Warriors can compete with them. Hearing this, Najo Taro smiled. Confront? Are you looking down on me? My Ghost Warrior is the most powerful among the 4th grade soldiers. Even if they are 3rd grade soldiers, as long as they are dealt with properly, my Ghost Warriors can kill them. Oh, you ignorant guy, Let me show you how powerful my 4th grade ghost warrior is. After saying that, Nagao Taro waved his hand. The ghost warriors behind him immediately mobilized their true energy, and the strange purple true energy wrapped around their bodies. The next second, the ghost warriors jumped up and jumped directly onto the city wall. Lu Jin also noticed the sudden appearance of these ghost warriors. Huh? 4th grade soldiers, is this their trump card? Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 167. Lu Jin shook his head and turned his attention away from the battlefield. He has seen the outcome of this battle and there is no suspense. My winning rate is 100%. Brush. One of the ghost warriors took a step forward, his speed leaving only an afterimage in place. The strange purple energy wrapped around his katana. A cold light suddenly appeared, mixed with a strange purple color, and attacked directly towards one of the black armored soldiers. When the black armored soldier directly raised the halberd in his hand and blocked the attack of the ghost warrior. Suddenly, sparks burst out. The veins in the ghost warrior's arms popped out and he used all his strength. On the other hand, the Qianlong army, holding a halberd with one hand, looked particularly relaxed. Seeing how relaxed the hidden dragon army was, the face under the ghost warrior mask gradually became ferocious. What a powerful force! The strength of the Longxia soldiers in front of them must have reached the 4th level, or even above. But so what? Seeing the Longxia soldier blocking his attack with one hand, the ghost warrior despised him from the bottom of his heart. Arrogant. This Longxia soldier was so arrogant that he didn't take him seriously at all. And next, he will pay the price for his arrogance. Thinking of this, the ghost warrior's eyes burst out with a burst of red light, and the strange purple energy around him wrapped directly around the halberd like a poisonous snake. The strange purple true energy hovered around Qianlong Jun's weapons, and then wrapped around his body. Wrapped in the ghost warrior's strange energy, the Qianlong army felt a sluggishness in its movements. Seeing the opponent's slow movements, the ghost warrior laughed. You have been bound by my qi, and now your movements will be slowed down countless times. Not only that, my qi is also poisonous. When you die from the poison, you will know how much your enemies underestimate you. Before the ghost warrior could finish speaking, his eyes widened and he couldn't believe what was happening in front of him. After being entangled in the ghost warrior's true energy, the Qianlong army also discovered something was wrong. But then, he burst out the true energy in his body. The violent Genkai faced the ghost warrior's Genkai, just like a tiger meeting a sheep, tearing it apart in an instant. Qianlong Jun mobilized his true energy, as if to get rid of bad luck, and cleansed away all the remaining ghost warrior true energy on his body. At this time, the ghost warrior had already felt it. The opponent's qi is 1st grade. How can it be? How could he be a 1st grade warrior? No one knows better than them how difficult it is to become a 1st grade warrior. But now, he is facing a genuine 1st grade warrior. What about the rest? Are the other Longxia soldiers also 1st grade warriors? But then, the Qianlong army didn't give him the slightest chance to react. When the ghost warrior came back to his senses, the halberd was already in front of him. The corpses were separated, and the ghost warrior was instantly killed. And the whole process even happened in less than 3 seconds. Then Qianlong Jun glanced at the corpse of the ghost warrior on the ground, and couldn't help but murmur in his heart. What was that ghost warrior chirping just now? Never mind. Everyone is already dead, and I don't understand the Sakura language. No matter what he said, His Majesty's orders have been spoken, and no trace of armor will be spared. If you kill, you will kill. Afterwards, the hidden dragon army killed a ghost warrior again. Blood splattered everywhere. In the blink of an eye, Lu Jin looked around and saw that the city wall area was once again occupied by the Qianlong army. So what if the ghost warriors who came up just now have the strength of the 4th level? In front of the hidden dragon army, everyone below the 1st rank is rubbish. The main force in the city should have been almost eliminated. Kill all the remaining ones. With a single word, Lu Jin directly decided the fate of everyone in Chang'an City. Receive. For a time, a new group of figures appeared on the city wall again. Among these figures, Shui Ganning was among them. Seeing this scene, Yosemite Satami's eyes widened. What? They actually have follow-up troops. How can it be? Who are these people? But at this time, Yosemite Satami quickly realized that he had to find a way to break the situation. His eyes glanced back and forth among countless figures, and finally landed on Lu Jin. This man exudes the aura of a foreign lord, and he must be the core figure in this Long Xia team. Even if he is not the leader, he must be a more important person. If only I could kill it. The opponent's morale will definitely drop. Very good, while his attention is not on you at all. He has a chance. Yosemite Satami couldn't help but hold his breath, and his body gradually approached the shadow under the city wall. Lu Jin seemed not to notice his presence, just looking at Chang'an City in front of him. Good. It's now. Sneak attack. Yosemite Sataman burst out with an astonishing amount of energy, and all the energy was poured into the sharp blade. All for this all-encompassing hit. Got it? Yosemite Sataman couldn't help but smile. But the next second, his smile froze on his face. Because Lu Jin didn't even look at him, he just raised his index finger and blocked his full blow that contained all the energy. Immediately afterwards, Lu Jin turned to look at Yosemite Satamitsu, his eyes still so calm. 2nd grade. Finally, Lu Jin uttered these 2 words with a somewhat surprised tone. What surprised him was that the person in front of him was so weak, and he actually dared to attack him. But Lu Jin didn't care, he mobilized the true energy in his body. Whoosh! The next second, a trace of undetectable energy penetrated directly through Yosemite Satamitsu's heart like a sharp sword. The remaining energy exploded in Yosemite Sataman's body, turning it into a rain of blood. Lu Jin, who was in the immortal realm, could wipe out a 2nd grade warrior with just a trace of true energy. The gap between them is not just a tiny bit. Ding! Congratulations on successfully killing the famous character Yosemite Sataman. Here's your reward, a purple epic treasure chest. Is Yosemite full? The guy he just killed turned out to be Yosemite Satamitsu, one of the 4 heavenly kings of Yosuji. Lu Jin chuckled. It's really too weak. An hour later, the entire Chang'an city was enveloped in a layer of blood. But Lu Jin didn't care. He placed a teleportation circle in the center of Chang'an City. The teleportation array was activated, and a series of figures appeared in Najayaka City. Is this the other side of the sea? A brand new country? I heard that a group of despicable races live here. Indeed, I have never dreamed of setting foot on this land. I told you, if you hang out with Mr. Lu Jin, you can do whatever you want, right? The white light dissipated, and several figures appeared in front of Lu Jin first. And these figures were the people Lu Jin selected from Qianlong City. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 168. Subordinate, I have met my lord. The visitors were none other than Jiasu, Len Yun, and a series of new generation Qianlong City talents. Nowadays, Jiasu has stepped into the realm of super first-class people and has become a genuine super first-class counselor. Not to mention Len Yun, her methods are becoming more ruthless now. Even ordinary first-level generals would basically be at a disadvantage against her. Jiasu looked at the surrounding environment, and there was a strong smell of blood in the air. What a brutal battle! At this time, Lu Jin took a step forward and his eyes fell on Jiasu and Len Yun. Since you two joined Qianlong City, you have been training hard for a long time. Today we set foot in Sakura Land, we don't have to worry too much about hunting aliens. This is also a good experience for you. Experience. Is it finally their turn to show up? A glint flashed in Jiasu's eyes. As early as when he joined Qianlong City, he was ready to make suggestions for Lu Jin. But he didn't expect that this day would come so late. Jiasu even thought that he would never have a chance to play in the future. Unexpectedly, not only was it his turn to appear this time, but he was even given an entire country to conquer. For a moment, Jiasu felt like an actor who had been working hard for decades behind the scenes. Now I finally get a chance to show myself on a huge stage. A fierce light flashed in Jiasu's eyes. At this moment, he was not the Jiasu who only wanted to live a happy life after being suppressed by countless people. Now he is still the extremely ruthless Jiasu who is known as the Poison Man. Len Yun, I will give you 10,000 demon cavalry, and Jiasu will serve as the accompanying military advisor. In 3 days, I hope you can show your strength in Kajigayama Castle. Let her lead the team. A flash of surprise flashed in Len Yun's eyes. Lu Jin actually chose to let her lead the team alone and let Jiasu be her accompanying military advisor. This is enough to show that Lu Jin attaches great importance to her. For a moment, Len Yun felt warm in his heart. It turns out that His Majesty has not forgotten me. Now that he has given me such an opportunity, isn't it just to let me show myself well in front of him? I understand. His Majesty. Len Yun will not let you down. I will, definitely let those Sakura aliens see our Qianlong City's true methods. Let them feel the deadly nightmare we bring even in their sleep. Thinking of this, Len Yun's smile gradually became twisted and terrifying. Amolu Buletin and Yao Daji, who were accompanying them, heard Lu Jin's arrangement and couldn't help but look at Len Yun and Jiasu. The smiles on the two people's faces, one was twisted and terrifying to the extreme, and the other was as chilling as the cold wind of the 12th lunar month. Just one look at them made people feel shuddering. For Len Yun and Jiasu, these two are the most ruthless trump cards in Lu Jin's hand. Unless it was a last resort, Lu Jin would not let the two of them take action easily. But now, facing the many existences in Sakura country, Lu Jin had no intention of holding back. After all, his main purpose is to plunder the fate of Sakura Kingdom. As for what will happen to Sakura country in the end, what does it have to do with him? He just needs to make Longhan strong. Thinking of this, Lu Jin directly handed over 10,000 demon cavalry to Len Yun. A smile appeared on Len Yun's face, and then he led 10,000 demon cavalry and ran directly towards Kajigayama Castle, the base camp of Ikago Kingdom. Najeo Kagetora should be in Kajigayama Castle now, but I don't know how many of his retainers are stationed at Kajigayama Castle. After Len Yun and Jiasu's team left, the others immediately began to take the supplies from the teleportation array. Len Yun and Jiasu, as the vanguard, took the lead in going to Kajiga Mountain City to attack the city. The remaining people transported the materials down from the teleportation array. Then they began to build a logistics center with Najayaka Castle as the center. After all, their target this time is the entire Sakura country. The saying that the three armies should go ahead before food and grass are used is not just a matter of words. The Changgang city stronghold was quickly established, and Yao Daji and Amolubu guarded the Changgang city stronghold. On the other hand, Magician Wei and Kuang Makeo went all the way north, preparing to completely capture the entire Ikago. On the other side of Kajigayama Castle, Najeo Kagetora sat on the main seat. On either side of him, on the left, were his retainers. Among them are Naoki Juna and Keikizaki Ki, two of the Yosuji four heavenly kings. On the right side, surprisingly, there are all alien lords on the right side. Obviously, the alien lord status is still high here in Najeo Kagetora. The most eye-catching thing is the alien lord sitting at the top on the right side. Next to him, a swordsman with a long sword on his waist is sitting upright. The aura emanating from his body would make even Nagao Kagetora fear him. And it was precisely because of the existence of this swordsman that Nagao Kagetora's retainers were dissatisfied with the existence of the alien lord. But he still didn't dare to speak sarcastically, so he had to suppress his inner dissatisfaction. There is an urgent report from Chang'an City. A force from Longxia has occupied Chang'an City. It only took them less than half a day from attack to occupation. We have reason to suspect that this is a legion of level 4 or above. After occupying Chang'an City, this Longxia army will definitely choose to go north or south. If it comes towards us, we may not have much time. So, we have to prepare for the worst. If this Longxia army is particularly strong, we will need Mr. Ogamajinto to take action. In unison, all eyes in the audience turned to the first alien lord on the right. The alien lord raised the corners of his mouth slightly and looked at the crowd with a look of invincible disdain. After a long time, the great master smiled contemptuously. "Don't worry, I haven't taken it seriously yet. My swordsmen are all experienced in many battles, and they can handle Longxia soldiers with ease. No matter what happens, you should believe in Mr. Sasaki's strength." "That's right. The swordsman sitting next to Ogimato is the famous swordsman Sasaki Kojiro. It is precisely because Ogamato has Sasaki's trump card that he has been able to climb all the way to his current position. And Sasaki Kojiro also helped Ogimato train a large number of swordsmen. All of these swordsmen have experienced hundreds of battles and have the aura of 4th grade warriors. Some of the elite swordsmen have even entered the 3rd grade realm and are stronger. With such power and the help of Nagao Kagetora, counter-attacking Nagaoka Castle is not a problem." But at this moment, a servant hurried in. "No. Longxia's troops are coming. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms." Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 169. What? How long has it been since? It was less than a day before the fall of Nagaoka Castle. Longxia's troops have actually arrived at their base camp. For a moment, the faces of Nagao Kagetora and his retainers began to become solemn. As soon as they captured Nagaoka Castle, they attacked directly. It seemed that the attackers were extremely confident in their own strength. "Come out with me and take a look." Nagao Kagetora didn't dare to underestimate these Longxia troops. Just from the battle report of Nagaoka City, we can see that these Longxia soldiers are strong and not just a mob. After boarding the city, Nagao Kagetora saw the demon cavalry in the distance. It's just that the demon cavalry stood there and seemed to have no intention of attacking the city immediately. Thinking of this, Nagao Kagetora couldn't help but frown slightly. What on earth are they planning to do? At this moment, Jiasu walked out from among the demon cavalry. Seeing Nagao Kagetora and others on the city wall, the corners of his mouth raised slightly, revealing a chilling smile. Put. The next second, the throwing objects in the sky were like meteors, heading straight towards the city wall. Seeing that the opponent chose to throw siege, Nagao Kagetora immediately drew the katana from his waist. Alert! The defenders on the city wall took various defensive measures to resist the sudden missiles. At this moment, a projectile hit Nagao Kagetora. Seeing the projectile coming, Nagao Kagetora reflexively slashed out with his sword. Unexplained liquid fell on his face. Nagao Kagetora looked at the blood on his blade and couldn't help being slightly stunned. Blood? Whose? But when he looked back, he realized that the thrown object he had just chopped open was not a stone. It's Yosemai's head that never rests in peace. Boom. For a moment, Nagao Kagetora felt as if something was exploding in his mind. The next second, the soaring anger almost swallowed up all his sanity. Only then did he realize that these so-called throwing objects were the heads of the defenders of Najayaka city. Shame! How dare these Longzia troops desecrate the corpse like this? Damn it! How dare these Longzia bastards do this? Sir, please let me lead my troops out of the city and crush all these Longzia bastards. Naoki Juna knelt before Najayo Kagetora and begged Najayo Kagetora to agree to his request. And Najayo Kagetora was also furious at this moment. But he still has some sense. The other party obviously used this trick deliberately to lure the snake out of its hole, hoping to get them out of the city to fight. But so what if you know? If they still cower in the face of such an insult, it won't be long before their subordinates rebel. What a great move to provoke the general. But Najayo Kagetora still had to win. I will dispatch 30,000 elite troops to you, and Mr. Deus Hangjianren will also assist you. A great gentleman? Naoki Juna frowned slightly. He believed that he could eradicate all these Ryasha bastards with his own strength. But Najayo Kagetora had already spoken, and Naoki Tsuna didn't say anything more. The city gate is open. Naoki Juna and Ogamoto led a Sakura troop and attacked directly in the direction of the demon cavalry. When Jiasu saw the Sakura troops, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Looked. I told you, sometimes the dead are more useful than the living. Jiasu looked at Len Yun behind him. Compared with siege warfare, luring the enemy out to weaken it will undoubtedly preserve the maximum strength of the demon cavalry. But Len Yun didn't say anything. Although Jiasu's method was somewhat contrary to human nature. But precisely because of this, she was able to save a lot of energy. Although the demon cavalry was enough to crush the Sakura samurai and easily capture Kashigayama Castle. But if you forcefully attack the city, injuries are inevitable. In order to minimize the damage, Jiasu's strategy was needed. Now, the Sakura troops are heading towards them. They don't know yet that they have fallen into a trap. Roar! All the tiger demons under the demon cavalry roared. The roar echoed through the forest. For a moment, something seemed to be awakened in the forest. Roar! The next second, a giant python rushed out of the forest. The huge body fell directly into the Sakura troops, and the originally neat team was instantly disrupted into a mess. But it's not over yet, the second one followed, the third one. A large number of monsters rushed out of the mountains and forests, trampling on the fragile body of the Sakura samurai without restraint. In the chaos, Sasaki Kojiro immediately noticed something was wrong. He first fled to a safe area with the Das Hangjian people. Immediately afterwards, he glanced around, and the true energy in his body spread around like a spider web. But when he noticed the number of monsters around him, his expression changed. How can it be? The number of monsters around him has far exceeded the number of ordinary monsters. These monsters seem to have been driven to this area by humans. At this time, Sasaki Kojiro suddenly remembered the roar that had just appeared suddenly. Could it be, is this also part of the plan of those Longzia people? While Sasaki Kojiro was thinking, Sakura's team had already fallen into a melee of monsters. When all the monsters were dealt with, only a few hundred people remained in the original team of tens of thousands. This shows how tragic the battle was. Before the remaining hundreds of people could take a breath, they saw the demon cavalry very close at hand. The demon cavalry raised their swords and killed all the remaining 100 people. Jiasu clapped her hands, not bad, just right. But at this moment, Len Yun suddenly had a stern look in his eyes. Raising his hand, Len Yun drew a flying knife from his back and threw it directly towards Jiasu. When I saw the figure of Sasaki Kojiro emerging in the air, Sasaki Kojiro took a few steps back and looked at his palm in shock. Just one flying knife actually made his hands numb. How powerful is this? At this time, Jiasu tilted his head and looked at Sasaki Kojiro, with a hint of teasing in his eyes. First grade warrior? he is considered a strong one here. It's just that you chose the wrong opponent. Miss Len Yun, I leave this swordsman to you. Len Yun didn't say anything, he just turned over and landed on the ground. She looked at Sasaki Kojiro in front of her, as if thinking about something. Finally, she took out a delicate knife that was only the size of her thumb. Seeing this knife, Jiasu next to him smiled. Miss Len Yun, that knife should be a handicraft made in Jianlong City. It would be inappropriate to use such a small handicraft to deal with a first-grade warrior. Len Yun glanced at Jiasu and frowned slightly. The rest, waste. As soon as these words came out, Sasaki Kojiro's face became extremely ugly. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 170. Seeing Len Yun pick up the mini knife, Sasaki Kojiro felt that he was insulted again. After all, he is also a first-grade warrior. All the enemies he had fought against were as if they were facing formidable enemies. But now, the woman in front of him actually despised him so much. I hope you won't regret it then. Sasaki Kojiro suddenly burst out with an astonishing amount of energy. The true energy belonging to a first-grade warrior rose around him like a whirlwind. Whoosh! The next second, Sasaki Kojiro disappeared directly from the spot. Cut! A blow containing true energy struck Len Yun directly. But at this moment, Sasaki Kojiro saw a shocking scene. Len Yun seemed to have noticed his movements a long time ago. She turned her head and her eyes fell on Sasaki Kojiro. Sasaki Kojiro's eyes widened and he couldn't believe it. How can it be? She can actually keep up with her own speed. But so what if you react? My attack contains the true energy of a first-grade warrior. Can she stop it? When? A clear voice sounded, and Sasaki Kojiro looked at the blade fragments flying slowly in his field of vision. Others were dumbfounded. Len Yun held the craft knife and waved his arm in the air several times in an instant. For a moment, blood spattered, and Sasaki Kojiro felt a sharp pain. The next second, his vision was covered with scarlet blood. The long-tailed cage Tora on the wall looked pale. What's the situation? He didn't even see the other party's movements clearly. That was a first-grade warrior, and he was defeated like that. Sasaki Kojiro fell to the ground, his chest a bloody mess, and the blood turned into a pool of blood under his body. With a bang, Len Yun stepped on Sasaki Kojiro's head. Waste. Click, Len Yun exerted force on his feet. Only a crisp sound was heard, and Sasaki Kojiro completely stopped moving. Ding, congratulations on successfully killing the famous character Sasaki Kojiro. Here's your reward, a golden legendary weapon treasure chest. Lu Jin, who was about to go to Kashiga Mountain Castle, was a little surprised when he heard the system prompt. Sasaki Kojiro? This guy is also considered a relatively famous guy in the history of Sakura country. It seems that a certain Sakura lord summoned it. But what about summoning it? It's just a reward for yourself. It's time to get going. As a well-known local figure in Sakura, Nagao Kage Tora should be blessed with Sakura's national fortune. Thinking of this, Lu Jin's figure flashed. When he appeared again, he had arrived at Kashigayama Castle. At this moment, Kashigayama Castle was shrouded in flames. Sasaki Kojiro was instantly killed by Len Yun, and Nagao Kage Tora and others were naturally no match for Len Yun. Nagao Kage Tora held a katana in his hand, and looking at the blade that had been broken into half, he only felt a sense of fear in his heart. Too strong. The woman in front of her was not only terrifying in strength, but also extremely ruthless in her methods. Looking at the broken limbs and arms at her feet, these were the retainers he once valued most. But under Len Yun's blade, they had turned into pieces of flesh. And Len Yun walked toward him step by step, and Nagao Kage Tora kept retreating until he felt the cold wall on his back, and his heart sank to the bottom. It's over. There is no retreat. Having seen Len Yun's cruel methods, let alone resistance now, Nagao Kagetora's legs even felt weak, and his whole body was so weak that it was difficult to escape. But just when Len Yun raised the blade in her hand and was about to drop it, her movements stopped. Seeing Len Yun's movements stop, Nagao Kagetora couldn't help but be slightly startled. What's the situation? Why did she stop? Could it be that his conscience found out and he planned to let himself go? But when Nagao Kagetora reacted, he realized that Len Yun's eyes were falling next to him. Nagao Kagetora looked back and saw a man in white appearing beside him at some point. Lu Jin looked at Nagao Kagetora in front of him and couldn't help but touch his chin and look at him. Is this Nagao Kagetora, known as the Sakura god of war? The corners of Lu Jin's mouth raised slightly. Fortunately, he was the Sakura military god. He sensed a dragon-like presence in Nagao Kagetora's body. Sure enough. And Nagao Kagetora was so smart, he immediately realized that the man in front of him was probably the leader of Ryusha. He immediately calmed down, like a drowning man grasping at the last straw. Great leader Long Xia, as long as you are willing to let me go, I can use everything I have in exchange for my life. I still have some treasures hidden in the secret places of Kashigayama Castle. As long as you let me go, I can tell you the location of these hidden treasures. As soon as he finished speaking, Nagao Kagetora suddenly felt like the world was spinning. His head was chopped off by Lu Jin with one blow. Lu Jin chuckled, I have no interest in your so-called gold and silver treasures. Compared to gold and silver treasures, I am more interested in the aura of national destiny in you. Roar. A wisp of dragon energy came out of Lu Jin's body and headed straight towards Nagao Kagetora's body. Sensing the approach of the dragon energy, a golden aura of national destiny immediately emerged from Nagao Kagetora's body. Want to run? When Lu Jin raised his hand, all the dragon energy flew out. The dragon energy flying out was like a wild beast, eating up all the Sakura Kokuyo in the air who were about to escape. After all the dragon energy was digested, Lu Jin raised his hand and took it back. At this moment, Lu Jin clearly felt that several of the dragon auras began to differentiate into brand new dragon auras. The amount of Lu Jin's dragon energy began to increase. Ding! Congratulations on successfully killing the famous character Nagao Kagetora. Here's your reward, a golden legendary Warring States treasure chest and a golden legendary city founding order. Another golden legendary treasure chest. However, compared to the golden legendary treasure chest, the biggest gain is your own dragon energy. When he has digested Nagao Kagetora's national destiny energy, he will be able to increase his dragon energy by about 3. Thinking of this, Lu Jin couldn't help but feel happy. And then, he would have to hurry up. Forces from other countries have landed one after another, and presumably other forces will be wiped out one after another. The forces of the Warring States period that were wiped out would definitely have their national destiny plundered by forces from other countries. Therefore, it is not easy to obtain all the Sakura national fortune in a short period of time. Lu Jin planned to select a few Sakura forces with more national destiny to attack. Among these Sakura forces, who has the most luck for the country? There is none other than Oda Nobunaga, Toyoda Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu, who are known as the heroes of the Warring States period. It looks like we have to speed up our pace.